Okay, so we just did that meditation. Can you explain a little bit about the expansion part and how that works?
Oh, the one that we did, the balancing, grounding, and aligning.
Yes.
Oh, and wait, expansion, grounding, aligning, and there's something else that I forgot about that one. But yeah, so what was your question? Sorry.
The expansion. I know that generally you go a lot bigger than just the mile, but
Yeah, I mean, from my experience with doing an expansion exercise, like sometimes I would like, for example, go like want to like go to a grocery store, and like I suffer from anxiety. So I'd go in and like sometimes I would like feel like I just don't want to see anybody. I have a lot of anxiety today. I just want to go in, get my stuff done, and get out. Um, for that one, it's pretty amazing. Or I just don't want to have anybody's extra energy on me. And people that are empaths can understand what that's like. Like sometimes you're just exhausted and you just want to like get in and get out. And that's probably usually why I'm like that. Worked a lot, or and been dealing one-on-one with people, or didn't get that good of sleep, or whatever. There's could be some different things going on where I just know that going into like a store is going to bring on everybody's like energies. So
yeah.
I'll go in with like a force field around me. And a lot of people, that's interesting that I said that, because a lot of people naturally go, oh, I put a bubble around me or whatever. There's nothing wrong with any of these different techniques I'm going to talk about. They all work. We all as different bodies and energies vibrate to different of these things. Different ways of going into things and protecting ourselves. For me, I definitely ask for my angels, archangels. Definitely Archangel Michael is a really big one for protection. But one of the big things that I learned a long time ago that really works for me as an empath and taking on a lot of people's energies is taking energy in through my crown chakra, going into my heart, but spreading through my whole system first, my body, my cells, my DNA, my organs, everything, and then poofing out. And then I just do that in the car. I mean, it could take, once you start doing this on a regular basis, you can do it in a snap of a finger. It's like, boom, done, I'm walking out. And at first it could take like, maybe 5 minutes. You sit in the car before you get out and you do this exercise where you bring the energy through the top of you into the heart space. There's lots of different ways. I just get guided by the energy at that time. Just bring it in, and then I just go out and out and out. And so I usually go to the universe, as big as the universe. So what that does is when you're that big of that energy and you're that positive and you've got all this light and vibration, people that are like low vibrational that you would not want to run into, see, talk to, you don't want the negative person that's complaining over here, the rude customer service over there, or just running into somebody that you just really don't want to see. It's like it just poofs it out. They never see you. You're like almost invisible to them, right? And then you only attract like that vibe that you brought in with that ball that you came in with. But it's such a big ball that those energies are just like if they do see you, they don't want to see you and they pretend they don't see you, which is great. Or if they do, or they don't see you and you're invisible to them, or you attract, just the good vibes and you just get it. And it's like quick. Like, I'm like, gosh, I've got like freaking 20 minutes of stuff I got to do in here. Boom, I'm out in 5. I get the quickest line. I just get in and out. The cashiers are awesome. The people are helping me. I find all the things I need, maybe a little extra something that, I wasn't expecting, and then out the door and on my way.
Yeah. I usually do that with my normal meditation, but I keep it up to my house. I never really go much farther than just like my property lines. Like, I don't want the negativity to come into my area, but I think as a mom, I bubble up my kids with it. And
yes,
it's just something that, I don't know, one day I was pushing my energy out, and I thought, they need a little extra protection too. So I put one around each of my kids, around my cat, like, okay, everybody's protected. They're not going to get the negativity today either.
Yes, I do the same thing. I mean, when I do these kind of You could call them whatever you want, a ritual, a meditation, whatever it is. I do that for my dog Trixie, that's my kid. I do that for my family members that I'm in contact with, that I'm really like, that I'm adding into that prayer, so to say, and other people, friends, clients, whatever, and I'll add them into the same thing. But the thing is like, this is one thing that I remember like learning this. I was in the medical field once, and maybe this is why I'm like being stuck with that, but I always go a mile each direction. Whenever I do it at my business, at my house, or wherever I'm at doing it, I always say a mile each direction. So that means above me, below me, to the right, to the left, in front, behind. That means a mile to. So then I noticed, interestingly enough, when I moved into my new neighborhood a year ago, I'm like really good friends with all my neighbors. And I do that all the time here. And they're always, and then I've had neighbors that lived here for 15 years, 10 years, 20 years even, and don't know the same neighbors I know that are just in the same circle. But there's something to be said about, so when we do this and we spread that kind of energy, it flows. And then I might be walking down the street, and for some reason they notice me or talk to me, and I talk to them. And maybe because energetically that I'm sending off a good vibe, that's sending it off to everybody around me. I want everybody around me. I want peace. I want harmony around me. So around my business, around my place and space that I'm in. Now that I'm thinking about it, I need to do that to my car too. I always clear my car, but I don't do a mile out each direction. So now that we're talking, now I'm going to do my car too, because we can have people, and this is where I'm going back to. There was an energy healer that came in. I was an ophthalmic technician. I'm working, and I get into all these conversations because I would do a 45-minute exam with them. And so I got to spend a lot of time getting to know the patient. And when I did, I remember this one energy healer came in, and she was so amazing. I mean, I saw her one time, that was it, but she is like embedded in my head. And that must have been at least 20 years ago. And she said, yeah, I had this guy cut me off on the way over here. It was like, whoa, I almost like got literally run off the road. I'm all, oh, what the heck did you do? Oh my God, I can't believe that happened. I can't believe you made your appointment and you're alive. And I mean, she literally like went off and was like, had to like get herself back on the road. It was bad. And so she just said, I just sent a bubble of, what did she say? I think it was unconditional love or safe driving, something like that. That was your first reaction, was to do a positive. I would, like, a lot of people are road rage, and that was back in the day when I would have a little bit of that, like, all, mother, what? And I'd be all, you know what I mean? And get all,
yeah.
I was like in my 20s and like, just like, oh, I couldn't even handle it. I was like, what? I can't believe that, I took it all personal, like it was about me. And I was like, I thought that was an amazing thing. And I remember that to this day. So yeah, it was probably 25 years ago. And I just thought that she was such an angel to do that, and to somebody that was so rude and like literally almost ran off the road. Her first response was, peace be with you, hearts and rainbows around them. And I just think that that's an amazing way to be. And I've strived ever since to like have that, exude that out of me, and not be my first response. Oh, somebody cut me off, and be like, what'd you do? Because there was a while that I'd just be like, thumbs up. Because people actually hate that. They're like, oh, they're expecting you to like flip them off, but then you go, thumbs up. Like, and that was my thing. Somebody would do that. I'm all, thumbs up. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna be nice and stuff. But then like later, then I started incorporating her vibe, which is like, I felt it. Like, I felt like, just do this and be cool and keep your patience. Watch your reactions. Don't stuff them. You gotta release that somehow. But yeah, I feel like I'm rambling at this point about that, but it's a big topic, I think.
It's great. Now the internet's starting to get a little glitchy, so I was hoping to stop that. The other thing that I do in the car is pillars. So bright, light, strong pillars of protection on all corners of the car. And they just always are there. Kind of like, bumper cars, how they have the pole in the back and it like holds them to like run them around. It's like that, but on all corners. That's how I see it in my head, going up to the heavens and protecting. Yeah, protecting the car, but it's not a bubble, and it's similar but a little different. So
but okay, so I mean, that's still amazing though. It's got you like, and you think about the bumper cars, right? That's also the thing that kind of protects you in a sense, right? Like that's where one, it's like holding the thing going on, but it also, having that as like almost like a bumper is what I saw it as.
mm-hmm.
And I think it's all powerful. So I say if somebody does pillars around them, then keep all the same things that you always do, but then just add the expansion thing,
Right.
The bubble, the pillars, you just expand it out and go, okay, there's my pillars on the side of me on all four corners. Now just take those pillars and puff them out, right?
Yeah.
All directions, so that it makes it really doesn't even end up being a bubble. It ends up, in my reality, what I see is it just goes out. It's just like all of a sudden you're just in it. It's like there's no end to it, and so that's the thing that I try to get myself to do, is expand out to its affinity, eternity, whatever you want to call it, right? If you could do like an infinity sign around yourself about it, like even front and back and all the ways. Wow, that's another one that's just coming through. That sounds rad.
Yeah.
So, that kind of thing where you're just fully, I'm like, okay, that's going to come through, and I'll have to do one on that now because I'm just feeling it channeling like right now. Oh yeah, Janaea. So, but that would be a really good one too. But I mean, just going as far as you can, because as far as you can go, like I said, everybody around you, it's just like you're going to repel people that you don't want around you anyways, and then bring in new energies and people that you do want to have around you, which, how great is that?
Yeah, it's awesome. And it just keeps everything positive. So it's all that negativity out there is toxic. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a huge topic to talk about too. I don't know how much time we have, but it's just like, that's a big one, because, when you think about collective consciousness beliefs, we can all like start feeling other people's energy. And there's so many empaths on this planet that then feel that then we vibrate it. And then it's like, you really got to keep yourself in check when it's not your thoughts. So it's like remembering, is that my thought or is that their thought? So there's a difference between that's my thought and a thought that I like grew up with, or ancestral thoughts or whatever, right? Right. And then your own thought, and then it's like other people you don't even know. It's just people, like you're walking in the store, you hear something, you're hearing the news, you hear something, you're hearing from another family and friend and hearing something. And so then is it sticking into you? And so it is really important to like keep ourselves grounded, like we just did in that last grounding meditation and expanding. Is like being able to keep yourself grounded, expanded, and bringing in the positive energy through the universe. Whatever you like, and when I say universe, it's like, people believe in different spiritual deities, and they all serve a purpose. I do not subscribe to any one deity. I believe that there's fairies, there's so many things out there. There's unicorns. We could go on and on and on about all the energies out there that help us. Ancestors help us. People that have passed over help us. We've got angels, archangels. We've got gods. We've got other deities. It just goes on and on and on and on. There's elementals. I mean, there's so many. There's animal totems. There's numbers. There's frequencies. There's colors. Everything serves a purpose, and I think that the more open that we can be, the more energies that we can allow within us and in us. Not that you have to subscribe to any of that, It's just like, I feel like the more open I personally am, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a little nugget that I never even knew that was there. But because I decided at this moment to be open, I just got some tree energy, or, I don't even know. It's crazy, We could talk hippy dippy stuff and be like walking on the earth and doing that and being at the beach in the sand. I mean, there's so many different things that serve purposes that, I don't try to preach to any certain one, but I mean, some of them just naturally resonate. And then some of them you come upon and it's like, oh, this is so rad. This is so cool. This is awesome. I've got another like little nugget now that I can like grab onto, hug onto, whatever I need to when I need that at that time.
Yeah. It's whatever fits for you.
Exactly. Exactly. And they all have their own little things involved with it. And so it's cool to like, deep dive into each one of them, but they all have their own.
And it's like
place.
books, like books. Like sometimes you pick up a book and you're instantly drawn into it. And then there's other times you pick one up and you're like, oh, I just can't get into this. You put it down and like 3 months later you pick it up and you're like, why couldn't I get into it? This thing is great. So it's where you're at in that point in time and what works for you then. If it doesn't work for you, don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. But doesn't mean that down the road, the very same thing isn't going to resonate. Exactly.
Agreed. I've had things that worked for me at one point and then never did, or they come back around, or they go back and forth, or something that pops in all of a sudden after years of doing this kind of work. And I'm like, whoa, there's another thing. I'm a, student for life. I feel like until like forever, I'm going to keep learning and taking on newer and newer things. And I'm excited about that. I love being able to like open my mind up deeper and deeper and seeing the things that I didn't even knew existed, but maybe on some level I did, just it wasn't really conscious of it. And then now I'm conscious of it, which is like, it's amazing.
Yeah. It is. So I gotta get rolling.
Oh my gosh, girl, I totally get you. I know you've been going through so much stuff. It's like crazy times. I'm so glad we got to talk and connect and just work that out, because I know that that's gonna, one, help you out, and two, remind me of a few things that I kind of forgot about. So, put to the side and need to like reel it back in and go, oh yeah, Janaea, it's good to like implement that back into your life again.
Yeah, there's just so much. And oh my gosh, we still have so much we need to catch up on. So
always and forever. It's always going to be new and good things to talk about. Until next time, hopefully it'll be like in a week or so. Can't wait to talk to you.
Yes, I'm hoping we can do it as soon as possible, because my schedule's been crazy, but so is yours. So
yeah,
it all happens when it's meant to.
Exactly. Love you.
Love you too.